Welcome to the SFL's pregame live along with Nate Hall. I'm Cameron Irvine, and I'll show up eventually. Welcome to the broadcast. Nate, welcome back this week.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Cam. I'm excited to get this day of action going.
As am I. We've got LA and Portland coming up next, and alongside that, Atlanta and St. Louis. We've had a flurry of action already here today. We'll get you caught up on that at the half. Coming up on the SFL Halftime Report a little later on. But, Nate, these two ball games are huge.
Huge games. If Los Angeles wants to keep up in their race on the playoff division, they've got to get this win on the road at Portland today. As far as Atlanta and St. Louis goes, both teams are right in the thick of things in the playoff race. And St. Louis is on a 4-game losing streak. They've got to get things going in this game today if they want to keep pace and find their way into the playoffs.
We've had a wild day already of SFL action as the early morning games wrap up. But this Atlanta-St. Louis game, go into that real quick, Nate. It's just an incredibly important game as St. Louis has now lost the division lead. Both teams now trying to catch Tulsa.
Right. And like I said, both teams are on some losing skids right now. Both offensive have been sputtering lately as of the last couple games. Both quarterbacks have to prove that they've got what it takes to get themselves into the playoffs and deem themselves a worthy worthy team this season.
There I am. 13-12 is the score right now, Vancouver-San Diego. But coming up next, LA and Portland. This is SFL pregame live, and we're going crazy here at the studios. There's too much SFL action. Week 11, or Week 10 rather, continues next on Next Level Sports.
Level Sports welcomes you to the following presentation.
Home to the Timbers, the Trailblazers, but most importantly, the Portland Fleet as they host the Los Angeles Lycans in a Simulation Football League divisional match this afternoon. Hello and a very warm welcome to the Shipyard Stadium in Portland, Oregon. My name is Michael Truvillo. Benji Matson is alongside me, and on stats today, we have Phil Cause. Benji, two teams, one out of it and one right in the thick of it in this Pacific Division as we come down the stretch in the SFL 16th season.
Hey, good afternoon, Michael. I'm really looking forward to this game today. I think this is going to be a good one. Exactly, the Los Angeles Lycans enjoying a good season. There have been some ups and some downs, but they are squarely in the hunt for a division crown and a berth in the playoffs here this season. They want to win on the road today in Portland. And on the other side of the field, this home Portland Fleet squad playing for pride here this season. They are a talented young squad just getting started in the SFL. They've got a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, a strong defense. They could make life difficult for the Lycans here today, but I expect this to be a hard-fought, close game on a beautiful Saturday, a wonderful day for football here in the SFL. Let's get this one started.
As you said, Benji, a beautiful day for football in the Pacific Northwest. Blue is the color of the day. The Fleet in all blue. The Lycans in the white with blue pants and shoulder pads. Los Angeles won the toss, deferred to the second half. So the kicker for Los Angeles is Rob Ems. He's got the ball on the tee. And without further ado, let's play football. It's Next Level Sports and the Simulation Football League. Bringing it out is Benjamin Warner for the Fleet. He brings it up to the 22-yard line. Here's the offensive starters for Portland. Matt South in his fourth season is the quarterback. Running back is Ezekiel Love. John Trusman is the fullback. Art Vandelay, Benjamin Warner, who just returned that kickoff, and Jean Valentine are the wide receivers, and Nelson Lozano is at tight end. I formation to start with three receivers and four down linemen. And here is Ezekiel Love right up the middle, spin move to 2 yards. Here is the defensive starters for Los Angeles. Moore Rivers, Raymond Jones III, Forrest Stark, and Andre Krim on the defensive line. Danny Stinson, Jack Hacksaw, and Buddy Blaze at linebacker. Mike Scott, Thomasino Raman, and Thomas Raman Jr. at corner. Rochelle Colston Peanut-Say and Ryan Hayo Yosef are the safeties. Power I coming up on 2nd and 8. And to the air goes Matt South. He gets it down to Love, and Love gets crunched, but not before he gets to the 39-yard line and picks up a first down for Portland.
Great pickup there on that first down by Ezekiel Love. We're going to love watching Ezekiel Love today. I am sure we're going to see a heavy dose of him in this Portland game plan. Talented back, enjoying a good season. Portland's going to want to ride him to victory if they can today.
And he gets the ball off the left-hand side again, this time only 1 yard as Moore Rivers makes the tackle. We will see a lot of Ezekiel Love. He carries the ball more than any other running back in the Simulation Football League, a league-high 227 carries coming into the game, including 40 last week for 236 yards against Carolina.
Just another day at the office.
Carolina did eventually pull away in that game, but despite Ezekiel Love, that's why they don't throw it that much. Big interception, the first of the season for Danny Stinson in the secondary, and the linebacker has the first turnover of the day, and it's Los Angeles football.
Yeah, great turnover by the Lycans here on this first drive of the Fleet. Danny Stinson's excellent linebacker for the Los Angeles Lycans, just kind of roving in the middle there, picks that one off. Matt South didn't see him when he threw that ball across the middle. Unfortunate turnover, and it sets the Lycans up now in pretty good field position for their opening drive.
Stinson in his second season has 61 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and now an interception as Sully Richardson fumbles the football. Portland dives on it. It only took one play, and the Fleet have the ball right back in Lycan territory. It's Nevada West that dives on it.
Just like that, it looks like they didn't even get the handoff squared away there. Derwin, he was in the backfield right away. He could have taken that handoff himself and taking that one back. That's a great play by Portland. Just like that, the ball flips back to the offense. That's a great play by the Portland defense, which we will talk about today. If they're going to win this game, the Portland defense is going to be a big reason why.
Well, that basically call that basically call that fumble a long punt for Portland as a nice pass complete over the middle to Art Vandelay, and they're already inside the red zone to the 19.
That's the most effective flipping of the field you can have. After that turnover, come right back on the field with their strong defense and get that ball back yourselves. Yeah, that's definitely a great way to move up the field fast.
And because they're so good at running the football, in close here, they should have an advantage, but another pass over the middle. There's Nelson Lozano as he picks up 7 yards from his tight end position. Lozano now 1 yard shy of 200 receiving yards for the season.
They just threw an interception on that first drive. They're getting super close to the goal line here, now well inside the red zone. You want to be careful. Make sure you hold on to this ball. Don't turn it over here on this drive.
Well, as you say that, they go empty set from the 12, floating to the back of the end zone, and it's picked off again. Thomas Rahman Jr. has his 5th takeaway of the season, and Portland throws right into the hands of Los Angeles for a second time in the first quarter.
Looks like Matt South was waiting for that route to develop at Gene Valentine running to the back corner there, and just the timing was off. And 2 turnovers in your first 2 possessions for Portland. Not the way you wanted to start here, but they do have Lycans backed up. Defense is on the field a bit too quick, but let's see if they can hold the Lycans here on this possession.
Well, let's see if the Lycans can get more than one play. Running back Robert Johnson up the middle. Here's the offensive starters for Los Angeles. Sully Richardson is the quarterback. Robert Johnson, who just made that carry, is the running back. Davius Reed, LZ Pryor, and Chris Lee at wide receiver. Jack Flash at tight end. As we get ready for second down and 7 after the pickup of 3. Robert Johnson just went over 900 rushing yards on the season. He's in the top 5 of everybody in the league in that category. And they're going to hand it off up the middle to Johnson again, and it's 3rd down and 6. Here's the Portland defense. Robert Broer, Bernard Patterson, Gary Burney, and Derwin Nuevo on the defensive line. Mel Davis, Khalil Thomas, and Gary Clem at linebacker. Chris Stack, Leo Morris, and Derek Majors at corner. As up the middle again goes Johnson, and he's going to be close to a first down, but not there. So a 3 and out for Portland. Their defense playing well so far. And Bob Funk and Sean Allen at safety.
Yeah, this is a good sign for the Fleet defense right now. On the field quickly, twice in a row after turnovers. But the defense is stout. They've got a really great unit, especially up front with their defensive line. And they're on display here early, shutting down the Lycans on this possession.
Punter is Travis Warren for Los Angeles. Nice punt to flip the field. And Portland will start at their own 38. Here are the Pacific Division standings. Los Angeles and Vancouver currently tied at 5-4. Los Angeles gets the nod because of their better division record, but make no bones about it, Benji, these two are going to be lockstep all the way down the stretch in these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, neck and neck, Vancouver and Los Angeles, all the way through season 12. It's going to be a playoff race for sure.
Look out, Ezekiel Love. He is swarmed under and dropped in the backfield. Andre Krim, the Krim Reaper, who came over from Mexico City in the offseason, picks up the tackle.
Yeah, this is the defensive line for the Lycans. They might get tired of us talking about this Portland defensive line, and here they are making some moves right off the bat. Andre Krim, great move to stuff that run on that play. They're a talented bunch themselves.
After the loss of 3, it's 2nd and 13. Still no score here early. Portland and Los Angeles pass into the flat. Nice pickup by Jean Valentine. And he'll get to the 44-yard line, 3rd and 4. 3rd
and 4 could be a tricky down for Portland. They might be, looking to perhaps run and pick up that 4 yards to Ezekiel Love are in the middle of the field now. They've thrown 2 interceptions. That has to be weighing on the mind of the coach as they call on this play.
3rd and 4 going over the middle, and it's knocked away again. Buddy Blaze, who leads the league in tackles, that time gets a big paw up there and knocks the ball down. So 3 and out, or excuse me, 1 play, then 3 and out for the Portland offense this time, as the game, after an explosive opening couple of minutes, starts to settle into a rhythm.
Yeah, we're going to expect to see kind of a slow-charging Portland team playing good defense, trying to run the ball. They're getting off to an awkward start with the 2 turnovers here, but the defense has responded well. Going to punt this right back to Los Angeles and try and do more of the same on this next Los Angeles possession, their 3rd of the game.
Fair catch by Thomas Rahman Jr. at the 20-yard line. The punter for Portland is Dominic Birkin. And I would not expect a lot of points in this one. If you love defense, if you love hard-nosed football, a lot of running, well, you've come to the right place. You've got 2 of the top 5 backs in the league in Love and Johnson in this matchup. Portland loads the box. Richardson back to pass. And it's knocked away. Excellent job on the corner to get it out of the hands of Jack Flash.
So the Los Angeles Lycans on offense are having a tough time on offense getting started as well, facing this stout Portland defense. They been given 2 gifts here by Portland. They definitely for sure want to make something out of it. They're starting this drive deep in their territory, getting him from the 20. They're being patient, though. I think they're going to be looking early to just take what the Fleet are giving them on defense.
Second down and 10. Robert Johnson looking for a lane, won't find it as he's grabbed from behind by Derwin Nuevo, and it's 3rd and 8. These teams both average around 20 points per game. The Lycans score a little bit more than the Portland Fleet do. And both around 100 yards per game. Richardson, middle and grabbed. Excellent job on the slant pattern. That's Isaiah Barrett picking up the 1st down for Los Angeles.
Lycans go 5 wide on that play, try and spread out that Fleet defense. And slowly Richardson's able to connect right there, pick up the 1st down. Great pickup by them to extend this drive.
Well, as I just mentioned, points will be at a premium today. And expect some long drives as well, as both these teams very conservative on offense. They don't like to take deep shots. As Johnson, the pass out of the backfield, trucks 1 defender, but then is gobbled up at the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 10. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website, simulationfl.net, as Sully Richardson goes long and throws it right into the hands of Bob Funk, and it's a 3rd turnover combined in the opening quarter. So Bob Funk picks up his 9th interception of the season to lead the team. Him and Sean Allen have been going back and forth this season. They both had 8 coming into the game, tied for 5th in the league, and now Funk has pulled ahead. Portland's offense back on the field. Ezekiel Love back carrying the ball, and he's going to go down again as he finds the not-so-loving arms of Buddy Blaze, his 110th tackle of the season.
4 turnovers early in this game. That's going to be crazy. It's almost like a team that turns this ball over last loses, perhaps, today. These teams got to put a premium on holding on to this ball quickly.
Ezekiel Love now finds some space, finds some speed, and gets into Los Angeles territory down to the 43-yard line. Nice tackle by Danny Stinson. And you're right, Benji, that was the 4th turnover. I forgot there was a fumble already in this game as well to go along with the 3 interceptions.
And there could be more at this pace today. Both these offenses still getting heated up here a little bit, just getting used to the way the defenses are playing them, making some adjustments on the sidelines, but 4 turnovers early in this game. First quarter still, and 4 turnovers. Could be a wild one for sure this afternoon.
A handoff to Love, and he's immediately driven backwards towards midfield. They're only going to give him a loss of 1, but Buddy Blaze is already making his presence known with 3 tackles early in this one.
It looked like he was shot out of a cannon on that one, for sure. Heat-seeking missile on that one, Buddy Blaze was, and nailed Ezekiel Love.
Everybody on the line of scrimmage for both teams, and Love goes right over the top of the defense and powers forward for a 6-yard gain, 3rd and 5, as we're approaching the 2-minute mark of the first quarter.
2nd and 11, and Portland lines up in a run-heavy formation and runs Ezekiel Love right up the middle. I think that's an indication of the Portland Fleet play style. It's still 0-0, but I don't think they're going to be rushed today. They want to establish the run.
Well, they're establishing the run all right, but Los Angeles is mostly throwing it right back in their faces, and thanks to Buddy Blaze's 4th tackle on the day already.
Extremely active from his linebacker spot. It might not be too soon here before Portland just looks to see where he's lined up and then audible to run the other way.
So they're going to force the punt out of Dominic Birkin. He'll try and pin Los Angeles inside the 10, and he will do just that. A gorgeous punt down to the 5, and the Lycans will be backed up in the shadow of their own end zone as they'll try to work out of it. So no offensive rhythm really for either team so far in this one. Portland's come the closest. They got down into the red zone after an early fumble by Los Angeles, but they came up empty with another interception. Los Angeles hasn't been to Portland's side of the field yet. It's been a very slow start for the Lycans. Here's Robert Johnson trying to pick his way through, finds his way through the first level, and is eventually brought down by Mel Davis.
There's just a mass of bodies in the middle there. Portland's hard charging, coming up to stop that run. Rob Johnson's able to navigate that well and pick up some positive yardage there. 5 yards on that first down carry.
Battle in the trenches will describe this first quarter to a T, and also turnovers. As I mentioned earlier, 3 interceptions and a fumble already, as Johnson can't get past the line of scrimmage there. Gary Clem, the rookie out of San Jose, makes the tackle.
The beast. Gary Clem, outside linebacker, number 41, having a strong rookie campaign.
Back to pass is Richardson, and he leads his receiver, Davius Reed, too far out of bounds. 4th down, and out comes Travis Warren to punt again. Something Sully Richardson will have to be wary of is the amount of sacks he takes. Dead last in the league at 36 sacks through 9 games.
That'll definitely be something to watch as this game develops, because you know this, especially the Portland front, these 4 defensive linemen, they have a nose for the football, and you know they'll be hunting Sully Richardson all day today.
And a fair catch inside the 40-yard line. Excellent field position for Portland. Is not the best punt in the world by Warren. And let's see if Portland can capitalize here. 15 seconds to go in the first.
Yeah, they're in close, almost essentially in field goal range already. I'm sure not that they want to settle for 3 points here, but with the rate at which these turnovers are occurring, it might be good to end this drive with 3 points.
Turning away from pressure and completing for a short gain is Matt South, showing a little bit of veteran moves there as he finds Lozano. As we have hit the end of the first quarter, Los Angeles and Portland still try to find some rhythm on offense in this Pacific Division matchup. You're watching the Simulation Football League on Next Level Sports. Second quarter action from the Pacific Northwest. It's the Portland Fleets and the Los Angeles Lycans. My name is Michael Trujillo. Benji Matson is alongside me, and Phil Cause is working on stats. Today is over the middle and down into the red zone goes Art Vandelay. Matt South showing off the arms, and in the first quarter that was all about the running backs and the defense, maybe the quarterbacks are thinking it's time to get in on the action.
That was an awesome throw there by Matt South. There was a quartet of Lycans right there around that ball, and he just threads the needle, connects with Art Vandelay. That was a fantastic play. Sets him right up at the edge of the red zone.
And off, Ezekiel Love breaks a tackle and gets down to the 12-yard line. This is the first meeting all time between the Los Angeles Lycans and the Portland Fleet. Los Angeles, been around for a couple of years since season 9, known then as the Chicago Wildcats, and Portland was granted an expansion franchise only last season. So the first time that these two teams have locked horns, but they are division rivals now, so I'm sure that they will meet many times more. As a spin move by Love gets inside the 5-yard line. The last time Portland was down here, they threw an interception.
Great patient run by Ezekiel Love, letting the fullback John Truzman lead the way. Truzman picks up an excellent block on that Lycan right there, right on the corner. Ezekiel Love is able to turn that one upfield, picks up a first down. They are knocking on the door.
Truzman not in the formation, but they get the offsides jump. South to Love, and he's not going to find any room to go as Rochelle Colston makes the tackle, but that's going to be half the distance to the goal, and another shot at a touchdown for Portland.
And right now, coach is in calling this play into Matt South. You know, they threw that interception in the red zone, in the end zone, on a previous drive in that first quarter. I think that the play call here is full steam ahead, Ezekiel Love, if you're the Portland Fleet.
Here's some power eye on first down and goal from the 3. With two fullbacks to run behind, Ezekiel Love turns the corner and is untouched into the end zone. Touchdown, Portland. And the Fleets are leaving the shipyards. It's 6-0.
We have points. We've got a touchdown. Points on the board. Portland Fleet, another great job of blocking up front by the Fleet offensive line. Fullback John Truzman and Ezekiel Love's able to waltz into the end zone. 6 points on the board for Portland after a sluggish, strange start to this game. They take the lead here early in the second quarter.
And it was all set up by the excellent punt by Dominic Birkin that pinned Los Angeles down inside the 5. Then Los Angeles had to punt. They started inside the 40, and then 6 plays and 37 yards later, it's 7-0 Portland.
It's been a messy game so far, but, you know, I don't think Portland minds. They're a gritty team. They hang their hat on the defense that they play, and they're opportunistic on offense. Ezekiel Love's going to run strong today. He's been playing well the second half of the season here. So I think this game's kind of right up Portland's alley.
Kick on the way. Thomas Rahman Jr. to return from the goal line. Runs into his own defender and gets gobbled up at the 19-yard line. Keep up with the SFL and its teams on social media at Simulationfl. Follow us on Twitter for weekly broadcast schedules to discover team content and to stay up to date on SFL news. Let us know who your favorite team is or how you enjoy the broadcast each week with the hashtag #MakeAnImpact. Thank you for your support and viewership. Offset eye on first down for Los Angeles. They now trail. Robert Johnson is going to try and earn that back by himself. He gets 5 on that one. Both running backs in this game have now gone over 900 yards for the season, so it's not a leap to say that both of these running backs will be over 1,000 yards by season's end.
It might be difficult for them to get there in this game today. Both defenses allowing less than 100 yards on the ground to opposing offenses. It's just going to be hard gaining ground on the ground today.
As you saw right there, it's been tough sledding for Robert Johnson. And he took a big shot that time by Derwin Nuevo. And it's 3rd and 5. And now Sully Richardson will look to the air. He's thrown one pick already today. And he throws it over the middle and almost throws another pick. And it is only knocked to the ground by Leo Morris, the rookie out of Madison. Stands strong, and it's another 3 and out for Los Angeles.
Right place at the right time in coverage for Leo Morris, and if he could have just reeled that one in, Portland would be in fantastic shape, reeling in their 3rd turnover already on the day. But a nice defensive series. Los Angeles continuing to struggle on offense. Just can't quite find the rhythm yet in this game.
Another punt upcoming for Travis Warren. Last time, he didn't get the ball outside of his own half. This time he does so, but barely. Portland will have possession at their own 44-yard line, and now with a lead to work with. Man, this is tough because Los Angeles, they feel like they've come into the game with an offensive game plan that's not working out, but they keep going back to it.
Yeah, they're going to be probing the Fleet defense to see what they can, where the advantages for them on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball.
Look out. Here's Ezekiel Love. He got a block. He's going down the sideline. He's inside the 20, and he's eventually brought down at the 8-yard line. Look out. Portland is feeling the love, and they're back inside the red zone.
I was going to say, on the defensive side of the ball, they needed to be focusing on Ezekiel Love, tackling him. And here, sure enough, breaks out on this huge play, biggest play of the game so far, 48-yard off the tackle to the left by Ezekiel Love. Great blocking again up front. An explosive run by Ezekiel Love sets up the Fleet inside the 10-yard line.
Thomasina Rahman made the touchdown-saving tackle, trips left, single right. And it's going to be a floater out to Love. Oh, what a beautiful spin move. Oh, put it on the highlight reel. Touchdown, Portland.
Love that spin move up here in the booth. Super smooth. Ezekiel Love taking the swing pass. Little twirlaroo. I'm not quite sure how to call that one, but nonetheless, he looks smooth out there. Puts the spin on and waltzes in for the end zone. Another 6 points for the Fleet.
Ezekiel Love gets some revenge on Thomasina Rahman, as she was the one who's made the touchdown-saving tackle on the previous play, puts his foot in the ground, sends her into the bench, and gets to the end zone for the second time in the last 2 minutes, as Portland doubles the advantage over Los Angeles here in the middle of the second quarter.
A flurry of activity here, a flurry of points on the board here in the second quarter. Again, after that just strange first quarter with the ball ping-ponging back and forth, fumbles, interceptions. Portland Fleet's settled in here. They're playing good defense. They're running the ball well. Now it's Los Angeles, and they're getting the ball back again. They have not done much yet. They're just having a difficult time. Sully Richardson going to come back on the field. Let's see what they've got up their sleeves after possibly making some adjustments on the sideline.
It seems to me, as Thomas Rahman Jr. takes it to the 22, that Mel Davis, Jacob Bouvet, and Art Vandelay, who are the Portland coaching staff, made the correct adjustments in the first quarter break, and Los Angeles has yet to respond.
Yeah, I think only one first down so far in the game for Los Angeles. Flurry of punts, some turnovers. They're struggling at the moment.
Robert Johnson trying to get them back into it with his feet, and he picks up 6 on first down. So what do you do if you're Los Angeles? The ground game's been met with force, and the pass game hasn't really gone anywhere. Sully Richardson only 11 yards, and we're almost done with the first half.
You don't want to press too much if you're Los Angeles right now, so plenty of time in this game. We know Sully Richardson is great at ball distribution.
Again, Robert Johnson nowhere to go. Gary Clem with his second big tackle on the day, and it's third down.
to just follow up there, Sully Richardson is really great at finding the open man. Doesn't play favorites, just gets the ball out of his hands to the open man on this team. They just need to be patient and keep charging.
Well, that's how you get a first down. Find the open receiver across the middle. Jack Flash, the tight end, picks up a move of the chains, only the second in the game for the Lycans, and they're up to the Los Angeles 38-yard line.
Jack Flash, one of these talented receivers on the Los Angeles side of the ball that Sully Richardson will be looking for here in the game. And again, he just likes to spread this ball around.
Up the middle, Johnson gets an excellent kick out block, and now Johnson's off to the races. Down the sideline inside the 20. Touchdown saving tackle by Derek Majors, and the Lycans are in business.
Big play in the running game for the Lycans now. Each team now with a big explosive run by their star running back and Robert Johnson. They call him the bowling ball. And he was running on that one. He got his momentum running down the field. Excellent block there. Just past the point of attack, and he was off to the races on that one. Now they're in position here. Lycans inside the red zone.
Richardson rifles it into the hands of the defense and intercepted. Leo Morris, his second interception of his career, stifles a beautiful Los Angeles drive.
I think the ball is in the hands of LZ Pryor, and it just slips out right into Leo Morris's hands. An unfortunate turnover. LC Pryor is not able to secure that ball, and it just bounces right to Leo Morris in the right spot, the right time. Another turnover for the Los Angeles Lycans.
You live by the bounce, you die by the bounce. Ezekiel Love, oh, look out, he spins away from a tackle in the backfield and picks up 9. And if Mike Scott hadn't brought him down, looks like he might have been off to the races again.
Yeah, Ezekiel Love starting to feel it there, and he was almost gone. Fantastic tackle by Los Angeles to keep him at bay there. He'd still be running.
And off. Ezekiel Love gets another excellent block, and he gets into the secondary, and he runs until Ryan Yosef brings him down at the 30-yard line. And this is the kind of Ezekiel Love runs that had Carolina on the ropes last week before they eventually pulled it out in the second half.
Yeah, 40 carries, around 250 yards. That's a massive game on the ground for Ezekiel Love last week. He didn't get into the end zone. He's already in twice today. Portland's up 14-0. He's running strong. They're going to feed him the ball. Portland is just going to line up like this and make Los Angeles stop the running game.
Well, that time, Love only gets 1 yard.
And so Los Angeles wins that battle. And they're going to have to win several here in a row, stop this drive, and then on the offense side of the ball, they're going to have to start making plays of their own. Bears start doing it soon.
Second out and 9. Let's see if they go to the air for the first time in this drive. No, it's Ezekiel Love again. Again, he gets a massive hole up the middle. The big men up front do their job, and it's another 10-yard pickup and a first down for Portland.
Lycans defense was in an alignment there that they maybe should have audibled out of there, and they didn't have their adjustments right, and it left a lot of running room on the left side of that formation for Ezekiel Love, who's going to take advantage of that if that's the way the Lycans are going to play him today.
And with that last run, Ezekiel Love is now over 1,000 yards for the season, and he continues with another 7-yard scamper up the middle.
He just looks to be getting stronger and stronger here in the second quarter, so he's still fresh. Fatigue's not an issue. He's up over 100 yards, over 120 yards already, I think, on 17 carries, almost close to 130 yards already, having himself a fantastic game here early.
He's going to carry the ball again, maybe a little bit of fatigue setting into those legs as he only gets 1, 3rd and 2 right at the midfield stripe, as Jack Hacksaw brought him down. Hacksaw in his second season with the team started in Chicago and then came over to Los Angeles.
First time we've really mentioned his name in the game here today, but these linebackers, Buddy Blaze is already playing well. These linebackers for the Lycans, they're all
Love tried,
step up.
sorry, Benji, Love tried to spin back to the inside, and that was the wrong choice. He was met by the shoulder of Danny Stinson, and a drive that was nothing but Ezekiel Love runs comes to a close right in midfield, and Dominic Birkin is on to punt.
Last two
he
plays.
will do so after the 2-minute warning. Portland has jumped ahead by 14, and Los Angeles is trying to keep pace. They'll get the ball next. This is the Simulation F Football League on Next Level Sports. Michael Trillo, Benji Matson live from Portland, Oregon, as the hometown Fleets have a 14-0 lead over the Los Angeles Lycans. But the team from down south has a chance to get back on the scoreboard now. But their offense has been tough to come by. Only 21 yards passing on 3 completions for Sully Richardson, and only 71 yards rushing for Robert Johnson.
I don't know what you do at this moment. You got to try something different if you're Los Angeles. We'll see what they come up with here early on this drive.
Richardson steps up, goes down, and there's a sack for Portland, their first of the game, and it's Derwin Nuevo.
This Portland Fleet defensive line has been getting to the quarterback a lot this season. Derwin Nuevo, sack number 9 on the season. He's one of the league leaders from his spot at the defensive end.
And that sets Los Angeles back to the 13-yard line, into the flat for Robert Johnson, and he's wrapped up and dropped after a gain of 7. Richardson is in the top 10 of the league in touchdown passes, but as I mentioned before, dead last in sacks taken.
It's a really interesting stat there. 16 touchdowns coming into this season, one of the top numbers in the league, but then the team can't keep him upright when he's throwing the ball.
Free play for Los Angeles, and I think they'll take that penalty and get the free first down, as LZ Pryor could not turn up field.
As we listen to R62 make this call here, the situation right now that the Lycans are in, it could get worse if they're not careful. They might have to start pressing here soon as this game gets to halftime and then in the third quarter. And that's when those interceptions and those sacks really start to haunt Sully Richardson. He's still great at throwing touchdown passes and getting all of his receivers involved. But sometimes when they have to press, when they're coming from behind, that's when those turnovers, we've already had plenty today, but that's when those turnovers start to come into play for the Lycan offense.
Well, that penalty was barely not enough to get a first down, but now Johnson just falls forward and picks up a fresh set to the 26. Coming up on the SFL halftime report, Cameron Irvine and Nate Hall break down the first half between the Lycans and the Fleet, provide an update on Atlanta and St. Louis, and looks in on the most up-to-date playoff picture. It's all coming up on the SFL halftime report. Stay tuned. Richardson hit as he throws, and the ball falls incomplete. Second down and 10. Well, it's not going to go down in the scorebooks as a sack, but it might as well be for Nuevo, as the Portland defensive line is starting to flex their muscles here late in the first half.
And they're going to be doing the same in the second half, too, because that Fleet defense is going to know and expect Sully Richardson to be dropping back and throwing this ball, because they're going to have to in the second half.
Robert Johnson across the middle gets 2 yards. We'll see if Los Angeles calls a timeout and tries for a Hail Mary or just heads to the locker room. And it looks like we will head to halftime. So, Portland, with 2 second quarter scores from Ezekiel Love, takes a 14-0 lead into the break. Is an upset brewing in the Pacific Northwest? Halftime show with Cam and Nate is next.
And welcome to the SFL Halftime Report, along with Nate Hall. I'm Cameron Irvine. And, boy, Portland comes to play in primetime, don't they, Nate? They hung with Denver toe-to-toe a few weeks ago. They are all over LA 14-0 right now.
Yeah, and they really did come out to play today. It's crazy how it didn't seem like anybody wanted to score in that first quarter. 3 turnovers in the first 3 possessions total between the two teams. But it's been Ezekiel Love ever since in that second quarter. 2 total touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. and I believe he is either almost at 100 yards or over here in that first half. 129 yards on 19 carries in that first half for Love. So he's having himself a big game today.
Absolutely. Let's start with the playoffs coming in, the playoff picture coming into week 10. That's a look at it. Now, we've had some results today, but just coming into week 10, Nate, what caught your attention as we update the national audience?
Just the race in both the Pacific Division and the East Division is closed right now. Tulsa, of course, in the lead in the East. They got a big game coming up later with Arizona, of course, later on tonight. That Tex-Mex, too, is a really close division, and I think a lot of results coming into this weekend is going to dictate which teams might find themselves outside of the playoff picture looking in after this week of games is over.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, too. All the 5 and 4 teams, that actually officially coming into the day eliminated the Portland Fleet. Their strength of victory is not good enough. If they end up in a massive pileup at 5 and 7, they would have 2 victories against currently winless San Diego, and that's not going to get it done, right? You're probably going to need 6, maybe even 7 victories to get in the playoffs. So Portland's looking to play spoiler, and so far so good. Earlier today, Vancouver held on to beat San Diego, but boy, did they put up a fight to the Mavericks, 16-12. So they're in your upper left-hand corners. Vancouver is going to move to 6 and 4. That puts them a half game ahead of LA. But if LA loses this game, that is really problematic for the Lycans, who are slumping right now.
Yeah, it's really problematic, and we know we got Vancouver playing Los Angeles in Week 12 too. And Los Angeles coming into this week was really hoping to come into that Week 12 game tied with Vancouver, and of course owning that head-to-head win, Los Angeles over Vancouver earlier this season. They were really hoping to stay neck and neck with Vancouver, but if Portland can hang on this game, Lycans are in serious trouble right now after this week.
Now, right now, we've got Atlanta and St. Louis going on the SFL's Twitch channel. You can watch that game in full at twitch.tv/SimulationFL, and we'll have bonus coverage and live look-ins on that game a little later on in the broadcast. But St. Louis is at 5 and 4. They lost to Tulsa last week. They are now technically a game behind them in terms of tiebreakers. Atlanta is just a game back of the division leader. That, as you said earlier, Nate, that East Division is neck and neck. Right now, Atlanta leads St. Louis at the half, with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, 3-0. So good start for the Swarm, but St. Louis is trying to stop a 4-game slide.
Yeah, that 4-game slide really has them hurting right now. And St. Louis, I know it sounds like a broken record right now, but St. Louis has got to figure out how to turn this around with 3 games left this season. And so far, like you said, they're down 3-0, but it's still early.
Anything else as we wrap up the playoff tiebreakers here, Nate? As there's a lot going on. There's 6 games tomorrow as well. We've got Mexico City and Fort Worth tomorrow. That's a monster game on For the Fans. But there's just a lot going on. Arizona Tulsa plays later tonight. 2 teams in the thick.
Yeah, and that's going to be the game that I watch later on this evening, because Tulsa right now is playing hot, but Arizona is not out of it by any means whatsoever. Of course, they're most likely out of playing for the West Division lead, with Denver running away with it right now, but they're thickly in the playoff race, and if they can get this win today against Tulsa, that's really going to help them out.
Absolutely. Back to LA and Portland at 14-0 right now. We're at the half, SFL halftime report. It's kind of surprising, LA kind of laid an egg last week against Jacksonville, 26-10. It's almost like a fall from the heavens for LA. They were dominating, had the lead in this division. Well, they've had the lead in this division ever since they beat Vancouver. So now for a month and a half, and it is slipping away from them. What do they have to do in the second half, do you think? What adjustments would you like to see out of them?
Sully Richardson has really been struggling this first half to get anything of importance going in this first half of the game. I really need to see him start to get things going, get the ball to his wide receivers. they can't rely on their running back to carry them for this win today. I don't think they have enough to get what it takes done if they want to play it that route. So he really has to get things going here in that second half in order for them to come back in this game.
Also worth mentioning, a special shout out, DC beat Queen City today between two teams that are out of it, 13-10. So we've had a couple of nail biters, a couple of low scoring games, but DC gets their second win of the season. So special shout out to them. We got 3 weeks left in the regular season. That means that we have just 36 games remaining. 2 are in the books, so now 34 left, 33 and a half if you count LA and Portland. And now is the time to make your down the home stretch. Make your case for the playoffs. We've got you covered with all the action. St. Louis is in the red zone against Atlanta right now. We'll give you updates on that game in the second half. But after this commercial break, we'll send it back to Michael Turillo and Benji Matson for the second half of Los Angeles and Portland. This has been the SFL Halftime Report.
Second half of action on tap in the Rose City, Portland, Oregon. The Portland Fleet have a 14-0 lead over the Los Angeles Lycans. My name is Michael Turillo. Benji Matson is alongside me in the broadcast booth. Phil Cause is doing stats for us today, and Cameron Irvine is our producer and host of the Halftime Report, along with Nate Hall. Los Angeles, Benji, in the first half got no love on the offensive side of the football, and that's why they've got that big old goose egg on the board.
Yeah, all the love in the first half belonged to Ezekiel Love right there. But did you see the way the Lycans came charging out of that tunnel after halftime? They are ready to go in this second half. I've just got a funny feeling that they're going to make this into a game here this afternoon in the second half for sure. Look at Sully Richardson changing the play right now. They're going to be aggressive here in the second half.
Somebody probably told the Lycans that Vancouver, as you heard on the SFL Halftime Report, ended up beating San Diego earlier today. So now Vancouver moves to 6-4 and in the de facto lead of this division if Los Angeles cannot come back against Portland.
Yeah, you hope the players aren't scoreboard watching it at halftime, but you know the coaches might be, and that could be something that they bark at the team with on the sidelines to maybe give them some extra motivation here. We'll see how that plays out in the second half.
Nice run by Robert Johnson to pick up the first down. He's been the one bright spot for this Los Angeles offense, 80 yards on 14 attempts.
averaging over 5 yards per carry on the ground. The bowling ball, Robert Johnson, they'll want to lean on him still in the second half. They don't want to abandon the running game, especially when his running's so strong. He's going to be an important part still of the game plan in the second half.
In contrast, as Richardson drops back to throw, goes to his safety valve, Johnson. Johnson breaks a tackle and then is put down at the 41. In contrast to that, Sully Richardson now 5 for 11 on passing yards today.
It's been hard. It's been difficult through the air and on the ground. I mean, Robert Johnson did have some success with a big 44-yard run in the first half. Sully Richardson, 5 for 11, 34 yards unofficially so far, 2 interceptions. Just not a good start. But second half is a new ball game for the Lycans. They got some work to do.
Richardson downfield, penalty flag flies. It's in the direction of pass interference. The pass was intended for Davius Reed, and we shall see what the penalty is. And they're going to get pass interference against Gary Clem. Just a little bit too early on grabbing Davius Reed, and it's going to give Los Angeles a fresh set of downs.
Sometimes when your outside linebacker is dropping back and covering a speedy wide receiver, sometimes if you're coach on the sideline, you don't mind those pass interference calls because that sure is better than a 60-yard touchdown pass.
Los Angeles barely into Portland territory. That's a beautiful pass on a little post route to the tight end Jack Flash down to the Portland 34.
Jack Flash, his second reception of the game. There was a long while in that first half. He had the only reception for the Lycans. And it was a good reception there for a first down. And he's moving the chains here again with his second reception. That's what tight ends do. They could be your best friend. Hey, Sully Richardson, look at Jack Flash. He could be your best friend in the second half. Move the chains for the Lycans right there on that play.
Hashtag throw it to the tight end. That's a Mike Daggs special, as this time they throw it to the wide receiver, and he's not going to get away from Derek Majors. Second down and 8. The SFL broadcast team is looking to add new talent to our ranks of broadcasters. Applications are being accepted now to try out for either play-by-play or analyst broadcasting positions. No prior experience is required, just a love for the game and a desire to succeed. The application can be found on our website at simulationfl.net/broadcasting. Richardson goes down, fumbles the football, mad scramble in the backfield, and I think the Lycans have recovered it.
I couldn't even see what was going on there. It was like a scrum at midfield. The ball is on the ground forever, and it does look like the Lycans are finally able to fall on top of it, but that could have been a disaster. Sully Richardson gets hit and drops the ball. Portland can't jump on it, so the Lycans escape there. It does set up a 3rd and long, but it could have been disastrous for LA on that play.
Randy Amos, the right tackle, came up with the fumble recovery. And now on 3rd and long, it's almost an interception, but that'll just work just as well for Portland as it is knocked away by Sean Allen, who, as I mentioned in the first half, is losing now the interception battle with his safety compatriot Bob Funk. Funk has 9, Allen has 8, as the Portland Fleet. Here we see the defensive numbers for Portland. Despite their 2-7 record, got one of the best defensives statistically in the league.
Absolutely. Great pair of defensive backs in that backfield. Bob Funk and Sean Allen, leaders in a stout Portland Fleet defense.
Well, it was a little bit scrappy, but the ball does get down to the Portland 5, and that fumble looms large because it probably backed Los Angeles out of field goal range. And now Portland, with Ezekiel Love getting the chance to rest up in the locker room, it looks like we're going to see more of number 21 here as the second half gets underway for the Portland offense. Here's Love. Look out! Oh, he barely didn't avoid a safety. Raymond Jones drove him back onto the orange turf.
That was a big boy play right there. Defensive tackle, Raymond Jones III. Torched his man on that offensive line and nailed Ezekiel Love almost right on the goal line.
And now Portland in the shadow of their own end zone. Ezekiel Love's got to fall forward, and he does, up to the 8. Or excuse me, up to the 7. It'll be 3rd and 8.
There is some big hits going on the field right now. Ryan Yosef from his strong safety spot nails Ezekiel Love 2 times in a row. 2 big hits on Love. He might take a beating here in the second half.
The LA defense is coming out playing angry, and on 3rd and long, Portland decides to run, and it goes nowhere. Buddy Blaze collects another tackle, extends his lead on the top of the tackling charts in the Simulation Football League, and forces a very deep punt by Dominic Birkin. Remember, it was a punt just like this from Los Angeles that allowed Portland to get their opening touchdown on a short field, and it will be a very short field for Los Angeles this time. Inside the 40, the catch is made by Rahman. Whoa, and breaking a couple of tackles and getting down to the 22.
Almost took that one to the house. Already a short field. Fantastic return by Thomas Rahman Jr. Sets up the Lycans after what could have been a disastrous end to that first possession here in the second half. They are set up right on the doorstep of the red zone. Let's see what Sully Richardson and this offense can do with this super short field.
Thomas Rahman Jr. one broken tackle away from his first return touchdown of his career. Handoff Robert Johnson, not going to get much off the right-hand side. But Los Angeles in business if they can put it in the end zone here.
That last series, we saw the Fleet defensive line really make their presence known on 2 straight plays, forced a fumble, and then put extreme pressure on Sully on a 3rd and long play. And right there on that first down, they shut down Robert Johnson on the ground.
Well, you can shut down Robert Johnson once, but good luck doing it again as he picks up a first down at the 11-yard line on back-to-back rushes.
Just a little bit of daylight is all the bowling ball Robert Johnson needs, and that offensive line gives him that just enough space to squeak through that offensive line, and he's into the secondary, almost picks up the first down, or he does pick up the first down. So great conversion there to keep this drive alive. They are wanting to put 7 points on the board here.
Los Angeles has been down to the red zone before the first quarter. They threw an interception in the end zone, and this time they're going backwards. It's an 8-yard sack as Richardson tried to roll out of danger, but instead rolled right in to Derwin Nuevo.
Derwin Nuevo is having a fantastic game. We already spoke about how he's in the top 10 in the league in sacks from his defensive end spot. And again, the defensive line for the Fleet is wreaking havoc.
Second down at 18 out by the 20-yard line in the flats to Johnson. And he only picks up 5. Los Angeles can get a first down inside the 2, but it looks like they will most likely be looking end zone here on 3rd and 13.
You want to be careful. They've already thrown an interception in the first half in this spot. They threw an interception in the end zone. They want to be careful on this 3rd down play.
Empty set on 3rd and 13. Halfway gone in the 3rd quarter. It goes underneath and cannot turn upfield is Chris Lee. It's his first catch of the game, and Los Angeles is going to have to settle for 3.
A little bit of a disappointment if you're Los Angeles with this short field, and they cannot convert. The defensive line for Portland, the defense for Portland in general is just making Sully Richardson and this offense uncomfortable. They did it all first half, and they're starting it again here in the second.
Rob Ems, a chip shot from 28 yards, is up and good. Los Angeles avoids the shutout. We'll head to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, Portland tries to extend the lead. This is the Simulation Football League on Next Level Sports. Los Angeles on the scoreboard here in Portland, but the Fleet are getting the ball next. Michael Toretto, Benji Matson alongside me here in the broadcast booth as we are under 5 minutes to play third quarter. Portland looking for only their 5th franchise win in their 2nd season of existence here.
Portland's a young team. They've had struggles this season, and their 2-7 record reflects that, but we're seeing strong play on the field by their core components. This defense, Ezekiel Love on the offensive side of the ball, they are just a few pieces away from really being a great team in the SFL.
Short pass over the middle, knocked away, and to your point, Benji, they may only have 2 wins, this season, but it feels like they are so close to turning the corner after going 2-10 in their opening season, because they have been in basically every game they've played over the past 2 months.
Yeah, it's true, and I think that the league, when you talk about Portland, the league talks about them being a good team. They talk about this defense. They talk about Ezekiel Love, all these good players that they got on offense and defense. They really are going to turn this corner soon.
Nice underneath route to pick up a 3rd and manageable. Jacobs with the catch.
One of the pieces that they'll get better at, and they've got the players to do it, is the passing game. They've got talented players at all their receiving positions, and they've got the quarterback to get it done. Just when they get down, passing has been a struggle for them this season.
Ezekiel Love can't find anything off the left side, so it's going to be a 3-and-out for Portland. And Los Angeles, you mentioned it while we were in break, they only need 2 touchdowns to take the lead, and there's still plenty of time left with only 3.5 minutes to go in the 3rd.
And as much as we've kept talking about Ezekiel Love in Portland and their desire to run the ball, that's exactly what the Lycans are talking to the defensive team about too. We got to focus on Ezekiel Love. They did that. They stopped him on that possession. They get the ball back in good field position. And now Sully Richardson can come back on the field. They've made their adjustments. They had a good start to the 3rd quarter. They were moving the ball well. I expect to see more of the same on this drive, and we'll see if he can't get more of this talented receiving core involved in this drive.
Fair catch by TRJ, Thomas Rahman Jr., to everybody else. And they will start at the 39-yard line, will the Lycans of Los Angeles. Richardson back to pass, moves in the pocket, finds Johnson, and it's going to be complete, but for no gain.
Good coverage by the Fleet in the secondary. Sully Richardson doesn't see anything that he likes downfield. Settles for the outlet there. But just the play is too tight on the sideline. No gain on that one.
And a run-heavy set here, but the only back there is Robert Johnson. On 2nd and 10, Johnson trying to pick his way through, and he won't do it. Nice tackling by Derek Majors. Gary Burney also in there on the stop. Visit the all-new SFL League website at simulationfl.net for info on how to create a player, join our community, the league, and the teams that play in it. Links to apparel, helmets, and a comprehensive history of the SFL. It's over 1,400 games, and it's thousands of players who have hit the virtual field. We put the fan in fantasy, and the fans of Los Angeles are standing up as Davius Reed finally makes a big play downfield.
First reception of the game for Davius Reed. Gets a great jump off the ball, runs a great route, runs right around Derek Majors, and just receives a bullet pass from Sully Richardson, dives down to the ground, makes that catch. That's the type of big play that Sully Richardson and this receiving corps is capable of making. They're going to need a few more of those here if they're going to make a comeback.
Under 2 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Richardson looking deep, and the pass is caught and down to the 11-yard line. LZ Pryor nabs that catch, and Los Angeles is in business once again.
Back-to-back plays, Sully Richardson completes balls to Davius Reed and LZ Pryor, their first 2 receptions of the game. If you remember, LZ Pryor had another ball come his way earlier in the game. It bounced off his fingertips right into that Portland Fleet secondary, unfortunately. But back-to-back plays by these wide receivers have them knocking on the door.
From the 11-yard line for the second time in about 3 minutes after they forced Portland to go 3 and out of their last drive. Robert Johnson not getting anything there. Nice tackle to the hole by Mel Davis.
When they're in a tricky spot again on this field, getting close to the goal line, they just haven't had much success here. One turnover. Were forced to kick a field goal on the last drive. 2nd and 9. What are they going to do here?
Handoff, Robert Johnson, and he goes backwards 1 yard. And it'll bring up 3rd and 10.
And they're going to have to go to the air here. You know, what do you do? We mentioned Jack Flash, how he could be Sully's best friend here. I mean, I would love to see that connection here on 3rd and 10.
Richardson steps up in the pocket, throws incomplete. He was looking for LZ Pryor, and he did not connect. So now Rob Ems comes on to try another chip shot field goal as the Lycans claw into this Portland lead ever so slightly, but they don't have enough time to keep getting down to the red zone and kicking field goals.
And the Portland defense wins on that drive again. Robert Brower, Derwin Nuevo coming around the ends from the defensive end spot. Sully Richardson stepped up in the pocket, but couldn't connect.
Ems from inside 30 yards hits it, his second from 28 on back-to-back possessions, and it's 14-6 Portland. Ems still perfect on the season, as is Portland kicker David John. Ems 13 for 13, John 20 for 20. I think David John has, put up a cot on the sidelines. All he's done is kick the ball off and kick 2 extra points. Ball in the air. Returned by Benjamin Warner up to the 19-yard line, and Cameron Irvine has an update for us from SFL headquarters. Take it away.
Thank you, Mike. Nate, St. Louis takes this pick, turns it into points.
Yeah, that's right. Drew really here takes this interception away from Bryant Dynasty and does a really good job of hitting that pick in the end zone.
It's now 10-6 St. Louis on top of Atlanta in that big game in the East. Back to Turillo and Benji in Portland.
Ezekiel Love, a couple of nice nifty moves, picks up 6 yards, up to 144 on the day. He's been dominant.
Yeah, for sure he's been dominant. Great game for Ezekiel Love.
And he will try to salt away the rest of the clock as Portland looks to hang on for a huge upset win. When we come back, the fourth quarter is next from the Rose City. This is the Simulation Football League on Next Level Sports. Four's up. It's time for the fourth quarter live from Portland. Michael Torello and Benji Matson guiding you through this Simulation Football League contest. And look out, Ezekiel Love, as he is driven backwards by a combination of Buddy Blaze and Jack Hacksaw for a loss of 3.
Before the break, we saw the graphic. Ezekiel Love was approaching 150 yards. I think they'd want to see him up around 200 yards here, and that would mean they win this game. As it sits right now, dangerous, 3rd and 7 for the Fleet.
It's going to be on the arm of Matt South, a 7-step drop, but he finds the open receiver, Gene Valentine. In space, he had a couple of Lycans chasing him, but he does pick up a Portland first down.
Great 3rd down pickup. Matt South, we haven't really talked about him much today. We haven't had to, but he delivered a great strike there. And first down conversion for the Portland Fleet. And that's what they're going to love to see now. That means they can drain another few minutes off the clock. Turn around and hand the ball off to Ezekiel Love.
3 wide receivers spread out to the left. South going to go underneath to Warner. And that's just about as good as a run as it keeps the clock moving. You can see very, very close on the passing yards for both teams, both in the mid-90s.
And that's your sure sign that this has been a slugfest. Both quarterbacks not yet over 100 yards passing.
And that's very unusual for this league because it's usually a quarterback gunslinger type league. Fumble the football, scramble for it, and Portland recovers it at the 45-yard line to give them a chance at a 3rd down conversion.
Art Vandelay, perhaps maybe with the play of the game here in the second half, hopping on that fumble, keeps the ball in Portland possession. That could have been a disaster, giving the ball back to the Lycans over midfield.
Now 3rd down and 3, offset I. Here's a strong side handoff, and Ezekiel Love, look out. He's brought down to the backfield for a loss of 2 by Moore Rivers. I haven't mentioned his name a lot today, but he makes a big tackle to force a punt.
You only need to mention his name one time. All they need right now is just a couple players to make one big play, and that was a huge play by the Demon Slayer. Rivers out of Tennessee there ends that drive. Don't look now, but LA's getting this ball back, and they're just 1 touchdown behind.
Yeah, it's an 8-point game as a fair catch called for by Thomas Rahman Jr. as Los Angeles will start at their own 19. So a long road to get there. But the Lycans offense has woken up, especially Sully Richardson, in this 3rd quarter.
He's gotten all his receivers involved, had a good drive that just ended in a field goal instead of a touchdown, but he has been moving the ball here in the second half.
Richardson surveys the rush, and over the shoulder, a catch is made by Jack Flash. Big first down out to the 40, pickup at 21.
See, there you go. Best friend, Jack Flash right there. Sully Richardson drops back and is like, I see you, best friend, and nails him. In the corner out there, good route by Jack Flash, the tight end. Huge play. Gets this ball further down the field, getting a bit closer to midfield. And the Lycans are looking to extend this drive. They want to put some points on the board for sure on this drive.
And it's really going to be up to the vaulted Portland defense to try and hang on for this upset win as going down the field again. And just as I say it, the defense comes through. Chris Stack, beautiful diving interception to take the ball away.
Almost on cue. Just like that. We were talking about up to this Portland defense to take the ball away, and that's exactly what happens. Great. Another interception for this Portland Fleet defense. Turns the ball over, ends that drive. Sully Richardson was looking to make a big play, and just another interception for the Lycans.
Number 4 on the season for Chris Stack. It is 2nd season with the Fleet. Joined them when they were an expansion franchise in season 15. A nice little pass over the middle. Finds the cutting Gene Valentine, and it's a first down for Portland.
And right now, it doesn't have to be a big gain, but it's a gain. Keeps the clock going, moves the chains. It's just what the doctor ordered here for Portland and for Matt South. They don't have to do anything too extreme here. I mean, you want to play keep away at this point. You don't want the ball to go back to Sloyd Richardson and the Lycans.
And remember, even a field goal at this point for Portland makes this a two-possession game. Ezekiel Love has just had no room to maneuver in this second half. As something that passed me by on the last drive, Robert Johnson is now over 1,000 rushing yards for the season himself, as he was 101 from that mark at the start of the game.
Yeah, we talked earlier, too. Both these backs over 1,000 yards, but we talked about the workload that Ezekiel Love is getting, first in the league.
And you can see it starting to affect his motor. You know, in the first half, he breaks that tackle, but now Jack Hacksaw brings him down, and it's 3rd and 13, and it's all on the arm of Matt South.
Yeah, Ezekiel Love's going the wrong way. He had it's close to 150 yards earlier in this game. And this Lycan defense now is seeking him out and putting him on the ground.
And they try to just run it to burn more clock. He gets one, but that's all. As he's tackled by Danny Stinson, and on comes the punter Dominic Birkin. Birkin has put the Los Angeles offense inside the 10 on 2 occasions so far this afternoon. And let's see if he can do it again. He'll get the kickoff from around his own 40. And the ball rests on the LA 49. Birkin puts his right foot into it. It's going to come down right at the 10 and just sit there. That's a beautiful punt, and it's down at the 5.
That's exactly what you need at this point in the game. Special teams comes on the field, and they execute perfectly. This ball dies down there by the goal line, and they put almost 100 yards in front of the Lycans here in Sloyd Richardson.
It's a one-possession game, 5:50 to go. Can Los Angeles make a comeback? Remember, they might be fighting for their playoff lives here as well, as Vancouver earlier today beat San Diego in a close battle to move to 6-4, and now a half game up on Los Angeles. Los Angeles does have the tiebreaker over Vancouver because the Lycans beat the Legion earlier in the season, but it won't matter if Vancouver finishes with a better overall record. Handoff. Robert Johnson finds a way through the hole and up to the 20.
Lycans have a tall task here in front of them. Poor field position to start. But you're looking at the clock now as it continues to run. They might not get, more than, I guess what I'm trying to say is they need to make this opportunity count here. If they have to punt this ball away, we just don't know if they're going to get another opportunity, let alone more than one more opportunity with the ball. So they got to be looking to score on this drive.
Richardson lets it go. Nice 8-yard pass on the turnaround catch by Chris Lee.
All these wide receivers for the Lycans were essentially shut out in the first half. The passing game hasn't been happening for either team today. But here in the second half, Sloyd Richardson, his numbers aren't great, but he's distributing the ball. Everyone's getting into the action here in the second half. It's going to be important on this drive or to end this game. He's got to do the same.
Johnson! Oh, it didn't get there. Sets up a huge 3rd and 1. Beautiful tackle by Mel Davis.
Yeah, going right back to the same play, perhaps. Got to pick up this first down.
Got to get to the 30 for a move of the chains. Robert Johnson is stood up and dropped by Davis again. Mel Davis, back-to-back huge tackles, sets up a 4th and 1.
Huge play by Mel Davis, kind of the captain of that defense there. The inside linebacker just makes a fantastic play. We'll see what they do here as they line up on 4th down.
4th down and 1 for Los Angeles. Down by 8. They get Portland to jump offside. It's a free play, and it's caught down the field. They take advantage of the confusion of the Portland defense, and Chris Lee has the Lycans in Fleet territory.
That is terrible play for Portland. You wondered if he was even going to snap it, lining up for 4th down. And then when We jump off sides. When the Fleet jumps off sides there, he takes advantage. Free play. Chris Lee down the sideline. They call him the cheese. And he brought the cheese on that play. Free
Guess
play.
what? He was matched up against Mel Davis, who's great run blocker, but not so much when you're matched up against the 6'3", 215-pound speedster of a wide receiver out of Tacoma in his first season. Just shy of the 40 now. Los Angeles needs the end zone. It's a toss out in the flat for the Paladin Smite, the fullback. And he's tackled by Khalil Thomas. Caught everybody off guard, including myself. And it'll be 2nd and 4.
But gets that ball pointed in the right direction down the field. Clock's not quite an issue yet, and they're on the Portland side of the field, so he didn't want to take a shot down the field. That was the right play. Hit your fullback outlet and just get some positive yards.
Richardson, 0-step drop, and a quick slant for a first down to the 31-yard line. And that was Tito Camino, the backup tight end, who made that catch. So getting everybody involved, even some of the bench warmers, up onto the field to try and confuse this Portland defense. Richardson. Johnson makes the catch and is bowled over by Sean Allen, assisted by Chris Stack.
Portland has been doing a great job of tackling today. The defense really rallies to the ball. You see 2 defenders almost every time Lycan's being brought down. You just have multiple players there. That's one of their strong suits to do a great job of tackling.
Up the middle on 2nd and 7 and going nowhere is Robert Johnson. Guess who? It's Mel Davis again. We got to give him a new nickname, Silver Bullet, because he's the Lycan Slayer right now.
Yeah.
2 minutes to go. It's Los Angeles trying to rally for the win here in the Rose City. We'll be back after this. If we have a dead play, I'll shoot it to you. If not, then not. Okay. Okay. Well, this suddenly turned in from a sleeper to excitement, didn't it? Kind of like last week.
Chris Stack is actually stock.
Oh, it's stock?
Yeah, I just found that one out. Chris Stock.
All right. Well, suddenly out of nowhere, this game has flared to life as LA is down 8 and driving to try and tie the game. 2 minutes to go, and it's a quarterback draw, and the Portland defense is all over it. Gary Burney with the sack.
Another defensive lineman for the Portland Fleet making a big play. Game's in the balance. The pressure isn't necessarily reflected in the stats today. but the defensive line for Portland has been excellent. They're good play today by that front four.
Richardson, this time with plenty of time, flips it, first down to the 21-yard line. Excellent catch.
That was a fantastic play. LZ Pryor tiptoeing on the sidelines. Sully Richardson was a cool customer on that play. And just delivers a strike, and nice play made on the sideline.
Cameron Irvine on it. Oh, they didn't give it to him. Wow. And they're not going to review it. So Portland's offense is on the field.
Wow.
From all the angles we got, it looked for all the world like that was a first down.
I'm cleaning my glasses right now, Michael, just to make sure. But that sure did look like a first down for the Lycans on that play. As it stands now, they're still in this. They have all 3 timeouts. Portland's got the ball deep in their own territory. They're not out of it yet. Just play smart defensively here.
Los Angeles has to get a quick turnover. Ezekiel Love, spin move, and there goes Love down the sideline, one man to beat, and Rochelle Colston just slows him up enough for Moore Rivers to come back and make the tackle. Timeout, LA.
Ezekiel Love's been held in check most of the second half after an awesome first half. And here, everyone knows Ezekiel Love's going to get the ball, and the Portland Fleet offensive line gets their blocks up front and opens up that running lane for Ezekiel Love, and he's off to the races. Great tackle here to bring him down, but now the Lycans have to start using these timeouts. There's only a minute 16 left. They've got to stop them on these plays right here if they're going to have a chance at all to win this game.
Ezekiel Love can end the ball game with a couple of first down runs here. He hasn't really been that efficient in the second half. A little pitch over the middle is incomplete, intended for Nelson Lozano, and that stops the clock with 1:13 to go.
And that's exactly what you don't want to do. If you're Portland right now, you have got the win square in your sights. You want the clock to run. Force the Lycans to call a timeout. Turn around and hand the ball off to Ezekiel Love. That is not what I would have done on first down right there.
2nd and 10 with 1:13 to go. They're in the I formation. Here comes Ezekiel Love up the middle very quickly as Los Angeles calls their second timeout. We send it to Cameron Irvine and Nate Hall in the SFL studios for a game break.
Thank you, Michael. Nate, Atlanta's tied the game.
Yeah, Bryant Dynasty starting to find his groove here, and Boo Chisholm comes away with the touchdown here to give the tie ball game with Atlanta and St. Louis.
They're 13-13 in the third. Back to Michael and Benji in a one-score.
And off Love, nowhere to go, 4th down. Last timeout used by Los Angeles, so they're going to have a minute left to go down the field.
Buddy Blaze on that tackle. Sorry, Michael, just to interrupt. This series of plays for Portland I would qualify as a disaster, starting with the first down pass attempt, which kills the clock when you don't complete that pass. And just like you said, the Lycans are going to get this ball back. They are still in it. They've got a chance to score and tie this game with a 2-point conversion.
Atlanta and St. Louis are tied, as you just saw via the game break. We will head to bonus coverage of that game from the Gateway City as the punt goes down and into the end zone. He couldn't arrest his momentum fast enough. That was Damon Owens. And Los Angeles is going to have to go 80 yards in 58 seconds with no timeouts. As I was going to say, we'll have bonus coverage of Atlanta and St. Louis coming up from the Gateway City right after this one concludes. $80 yards to try and save their season for Los Angeles, and a good start of 5 yards and getting out of bounds for Davius Reed.
Yeah, it's go time now for the Lycans. No timeouts, less than a minute to go. You, of course, want to hit that big play, but clock management is the utmost importance right here for Sully Richardson. If you don't have something down the field that you don't like, you can't take a sack. Just get rid of the ball, and and you'll have another opportunity on the next play.
Richardson avoids the rush, flips it down the field and incomplete. Davius Reed made a nice catch, but he was out of bounds.
Sully Richardson has to escape. He rolls out to his left. He gets turned around and he slings that ball down the sideline. That would have been a huge play if they could have kept that one in bounds and completed that pass. He did everything he could just to avoid that rush. He unfortunately couldn't complete the pass.
Over the middle, incomplete. Excellent play by Leo Morris to knock the ball away, and we've got 4th and ball game coming up for Los Angeles.
Great play by Leo Morris. He had an interception earlier in the game. He's really played well for the Fleet from his cornerback spot, and that's a big play there to set up a huge play for the Lycans.
We've seen this before, Benji. Last week, Arizona and Las Vegas traded 4th down conversions late. Can Los Angeles get it done here with 46 seconds left? 5 wide for Richardson. 4-man front. He's got time to throw. He does throw. It's tipped and intercepted, and running it back the other way, Chris Stock. Showtime in Portland. The Fleet have the knockout blow.
Chris Stock, pick 6 to end this game and secure the victory for the Portland Fleet off the tipped pass in the right spot at the right time. Chris Stock runs this one back for 6. Leo Morris on the tip. And just like that, the Portland Fleet, it's been defense from the beginning for the Fleet that have, I guess, dominated this game. And it was the defense that sends the Lycans home.
Yes, the Portland Fleet are out of playoff contention, but this might be a landmark victory in the early franchise history of the Portland Fleet. Congrats to Jacob Bouvette, Mel Davis, and Art Vandelay on the Portland coaching staff as they get it done at home and upset Los Angeles 21-6.
I got to tell you too, Michael, in pregame this week, I had a chance to talk with Chris Stock, and he says, you better get ready because I'm taking one back to the house. And sure enough, he did. Great exclamation point by Chris Stock on this Fleet victory.
3rd pick 6 in the career of Chris Stock ends the game. Portland goes to 3-7. Los Angeles, drops to 5-5, and their playoff lives now in jeopardy because they're now a full game back of Vancouver in the Pacific Division.
Full game back, still a few games to play, and it sets up potentially a massive game of the year in the SFL, that last game of the week.
Another interception, airmailed right to Derek Majors. Everybody getting in on the action tonight. Los Angeles has a grudge match with Carolina and then a rematch with Vancouver in the last 2 weeks of the season. Basically, all of those games are de facto playoff games because those teams are right in the thick of it down the stretch. Carolina in a division where every team is over 500, and in a season where 7-5 may be the only way you get into the playoffs. There might be no 6-win teams in there this year. It's been a crazy season in the SFL so far. I can't wait to see what the next couple of weeks have in store for us.
Absolutely. For those teams hard charging for the playoffs have already started for sure. And here we celebrate the Portland Fleet as they win this game. They're not going to the playoffs this season, but they have made a statement here today. They've been playing well all season. They are getting better. Again, they've got the pieces to be a special team moving forward in the SFL.
I want to come back 6 months later as we head down the stretch in Season 17 this fall, and I want to see where Portland is, because this is a team headed in the right direction. Final stats and highlights scrolling across your screen. 169 rushing yards in the end for Ezekiel Love on 33 carries with two touchdowns, 1 receiving and 1 rushing. He didn't quite hit the highs as he did last week with 40 carries, but he definitely was the anchor that got it done for Portland today.
Absolutely. I think that this game went according to Portland's script. I know that there was some turnovers by both sides early in this game, but Portland wanted to come out today and do 2 things: run the ball and play good defense. And that's exactly what they did here at home today against a good Los Angeles Lycans team. Ezekiel Love dominated on the ground. His offensive line opened up big holes, and he was able to run right through them, gashing this Lycans defense. And then on the other side of the ball, Sully Richardson and this team just couldn't get comfortable on offense today, and it is all to blame, or all the blame, placed squarely on the shoulders of this Portland Fleet defense. Starts up front with the defensive line who played fantastic today, putting pressure all day long on Sully Richardson, and then this secondary picking the ball off. It's just a well-played game in all phases today for the Portland Fleet. A good Portland Fleet team that beat a very good Lycans team that was traveling on the road today. Great game today by the Fleet, Michael.
The defense got it done, and it's all in the numbers. 3 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, 4 passes defended, 5 interceptions, and the game-sealing pick 6 by Chris Stock. As there it is right there on the highlight reel. I think I already said it, but who is your pick for player of the game?
Well, I think I know who was going to get the award here, but unofficially, I am giving the entire Portland Fleet defense my nod as player of the game. But I think coming out of the gates, Ezekiel Love was a machine. He's been a machine 2 weeks in a row for Portland, and that running game was dangerous. I think Ezekiel Love gets the player of the game nod today.
The Rose City was feeling the love with 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. That'll do it for Cameron Irvine and Nate Hall in the studio. Phil Cause on stats, Benji Matson up here in the booth with me. My name is Michael Trevello saying so long. Thank you so much for watching. We now send you to bonus coverage of St. Louis at Atlanta. Here are your broadcasters, Matt Wilson and Mike Daggs.
Hollywood with blockers out in front. Look at him go down the right sideline, crossing midfield. No, he'll, yes, he does. He does cross the field, gets all the way up to the 44-yard line. What a great run by BDG Hollywood, and what a great way to welcome in a new audience, Matt. We welcome those of you who just watched Portland defeat Los Angeles 21-6. We're here at the Gateway Coliseum in St. Louis, where the Atlanta Swarm are currently trailing by 10 to the St. Louis Gladiators in a game that has featured a good performance by both offenses, but Bryant Dynasty, the quarterback on the field now, thrown 3 picks already.
Oh.
An incomplete pass there. And, Matt, I thought that was nearly going to be another pick. Nicholas Warner looking like he was getting ready to jump in front of that one. Falls harmlessly to the turf, though. Ooh, 2nd down and 10 now from the St. Louis 44.
Might have obscured the vision of the receiver, but man, you can't afford drops like that when you're down by 10.
6:54 to go here in this one. Ball is handed off to Hollywood. Hollywood sidesteps the first defender and gets up to the 34. I thought he had enough for a first down, but they're going to mark him with a 3rd and inches. And, Matt, at this stage with the clock running, if they're going to run the ball, I would think they'd want to hurry back to the line, just hand it right back off to him.
I wouldn't be afraid to run it here. Just pick up your first down. Even if you don't, you're kind of in field goal range, but you do need 3 and 7, so.
They hand it off to Hollywood. He's met in the backfield, Matt. Tackled for a loss on the play. Gets brought down at the 36-yard line. I'd say that's outside of field goal range, too. A field goal wouldn't be the worst thing on this drive. but I don't think that they can make it from here. And no, they bring out the punter.
I'd go for it. No doubt in my mind. They better hope this punter caught the corners that he might be going back to working at Burger King.
Punt is away. Heading towards the corner. Is going to drop down at the 10 and roll to the goal line. Oh, perfect punt.
Oh, have it your way, Mike. Have it your way.
Down to the St. Louis goal line. Job security for number 9. You can't get it any closer to the goal line than that, man.
Old strategy, Cotton, but it paid off so far. Now Atlanta better just bring the heat. You know St. Louis is going to run the ball. If they can get a safety here, oof, that would make things real interesting.
Turns it into a one-score ball game if they can. Ball is handed off to Bill Cherry, and he's tackled. At the goal line. I thought that was a safety, but they're going to count it as being at the goal line.
Oh, no.
And Cole Finnegan is down. Linebacker for the Atlanta Swarm, number 57, Cole Finnegan. He's number 2 in tackles on this team.
Oh, man, he got blasted, Mike. Watch this block by the lineman. He just blasts him right in the chest, and hopefully he's just got the wind knocked out of him, but that'll hurt your run defense. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I was saying, number 2 tackler on the team, and he's actually also got 12 pass deflections on this season, a huge part of this Atlanta defense, and he's down. We'll have to look for an update on him. Second down and 10 from the goal line. Can they get in the backfield? This time they wrap him up.
They do.
It's a safety. And Matt, it's a one-score ball game.
Hold on to your horses. Wow. Just met Martinez in the end zone and was not letting him escape. And down a linebacker. That's very commendable by this Atlanta defense. And now it's all on Dynasty. Can he lead them to a tie or really turn the ball over?
Yeah, 3 turnovers so far for Bryant Dynasty. He is 18 of 22, so he's only got 1 incompletion outside of the 3 interceptions. Oh, excuse me. 23 of 31 he is. He has his touchdown pass and the 3 interceptions, over 200 yards. So he's just got to shake that off, Matt. We've talked about that plenty of times. What do you do after you've thrown a few picks? And, you've always told me the same thing. As the quarterback, you just got to come back out, just let it go, and keep on throwing the ball. You got a game to play. Dynasty, quick pass over the middle, and that one is complete. And looking like he had no fear there, hitting one of the backup tight ends, Al Chisholm.
But right now, Atlanta doesn't have to really rush. I mean, the 2-point conversion is always dicey. But it's a one-score game, so just run your offense. If it comes down to the 2-point conversion, so be it. But get your 8 the best way you can.
Hollywood taking the handoff, has a nice block, set up a first down as they are now in St. Louis territory with 5 minutes to go in the ball game. Tomorrow on For the Fans, coverage of the SFL starts at a new time, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Mexico City battles Fort Worth in the tight-as-can-be Tex-Mex division, while fellow division opponent Houston goes to London. All Atlantic teams are in action later when Florida visits Charleston and Carolina hosts Jacksonville. The SFL on For the Fans, we put the fan in fantasy. Second down and 10 now after that run goes nowhere.
Was a dump pass again. That play needs to be removed from the playbook.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times.
Put a swing in there instead. Now pressure ratcheting up a bit.
Dynasty swings it out to Hollywood. That doesn't work either, Matt. That goes for a loss of 1. And a field goal really does them no good at this point. Those 2 points at least made it an 8-point ball game, 1 score. Still,
all right. So let's see. Just try to get some kind of quick play for 7 or 8 yards, and then think about it. Maybe call a timeout and think about it on 4th down.
Short pass out to the fullback Mitchell O'Brien. 8. And, I think it's 4-down territory, Matt, but that didn't do them any favors.
Yeah, I don't know if Burger Boy can coffin corner it twice. I guess we're gonna find out here. If he can, Mike. Oh boy, it's gonna be dicey for both teams.
4th and 8, they elect to punt as the clock continues to roll. Can the punter do it again? It's this one away. It's going to bounce down at the 8, down at the 2, and into the end zone. Couldn't get a repeat performance out of Chris Smith.
That would have been legendary if he'd pinned him at the goal line twice. I might have jumped out of my chair.
Especially if they got 2 safeties, that would have been amazing. But it is not to be, as that one comes out to the 20-yard line. Christian Brown leading the offense out onto the field, and at this point, they just want to try to milk this clock and nurse their 8-point lead.
I remember St. Louis is down a timeout from earlier.
Ball is handed off to Martinez. Spins off the first tackler. Can't spin off the second tackler. And still no updates on Cole Finnegan. Waiting to see if we can hear back on what's going on with him.
Yeah, because he's your only inside linebacker. He's your field general, Mike, and that could really hurt your defense there when you're the guy that reads the defense and calls the plays with the defense is sitting on the sidelines or worse.
I think I actually just saw him back in the huddle. He might be back out onto the field, so maybe he did just get the wind knocked out of him. Offensive lineman just got absolutely crushed by Joshua Williams. That play only goes for a gain of 2, and there he is on that tackle right on cue. Thanks for making yourself known to us, Mr. Finnegan, with the tackle on the play, 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, well, that's what leaders do, Mike. Even if they're a little dinged up, they know their team needs them. They get back on the field if they can.
2 minutes to go in this one. It's a 3rd down and 6 on the other side of the 2-minute time stoppage. St. Louis ahead by 8. They'd love to get this first down and keep.
Yeah, they're going
rolling.
for it.
Yeah, love to make Atlanta start burning their timeouts here. 4 wide receivers on the field. Brown in the gun. Brown looking, has time, throws it behind the line, but wide.
Wow!
Open, plenty of field. Martinez able to get up to the 31-yard line, moves the chains, and Atlanta has to call their first timeout.
I thought that play had no chance, Mike.
Me too.
Look at Brown with one of his lollipop throws. No speed on. He wasn't moving. Was Martinez? He had to get up to speed, and he still made the first down. Someone in Atlanta fell asleep.
And a costly play for the Swarm there, Matt, as they call their first time out. Minute 53 to go in the ball game now, and they cannot afford to allow another first down.
No, it's over.
Brown hands the ball off to Martinez. Martinez met right at the line, tackled once again by Cole Finnegan. Fighting through some pains of an injury to try to help lead his team to victory. Second timeout is called. 2nd down and 9.
Man,
as long as they can. Oh, go ahead.
They're gonna wish they had that 3rd timeout right about now, because it's a different ball game. They're gonna get 40 less seconds on the clock.
Yeah. They will get the ball back if they can prevent another first down from happening. But big runs like that will cost them as they burn now their final timeout. So the only way they can stop the clock now
incomplete
is
pass.
if, maybe St. Louis elects to try to throw it. If they run it, they could potentially run towards the sidelines, but with only 3 yards to go, you would think an outside run would at least net them 3 before they'd hit the out-of-bounds marker. So big play here. 3rd down and 3. Brown hands the ball off to Martinez. He's met behind the line and brought down for a loss. That defensive line's been doing it all day long, Matt. And guess who? Cole Finnegan back in the ball game, and he's made himself seen on just about every snap since he came back into the ball game. A tackle for a loss. 4th down and 5. The clock does continue to roll, but the Swarm will get it back with about a minute to go.
He's the Johnny 5 of the defense, Mike. He's alive.
Johnny 5 is alive. Wow, what a reference, Matt. Johnny 5.
Matt Wilson. Short Circuit 2 makes me cry every time.
Oh, of course. It's a heart-wrenching film. Graham Northrup punts this one away. Casey Morgan calls for the fair catch to try to preserve the clock. 59 seconds to go. And about 72 yards worth of field to go. They have to get a touchdown. It's 4-down territory the whole way.
Atlanta's got the big playability to do this, Mike. They've got plays in their playbook where they can go really deep. The problem is you're throwing it up to this St. Louis defense as well. But
yeah,
and I don't like this, no shotgun. But we'll see what it's a 5-step drop, 7-step drop, 3-step drop, no step drop. We'll see.
7-step.
Here we go.
Deep down the left sideline and tipped in, incomplete. Trying to take the big play right off the bat. Boo Chisholm thrown to 10 times, but Geralt Winkler says, no, sir, you cannot have that one.
Oh, Winkler going for the pick. Be careful with that. Sometimes, as we've seen in other leagues, Mike, if their defense doesn't bat the ball down, you could get a fluky catch.
And keep your eyes open for number 17. You just saw him on your screen, Siege Falco. He had 10 receptions, 182 yards last week, including a 68-yarder. Could use that now. Throwing on the run, tipped in, incomplete. And that sets up a 3rd down and 10. And at this point, you don't really necessarily need the big play. You just need a 1st down.
Yeah, set yourself back up, spike the ball. But 7-step drops are definitely exciting, Mike. I don't know. Well,
Siege Falco and Boo Chisholm to the top of the trips formation.
if you need Boo, now is the time.
Dynasty, quick pass over the middle. Has his man, Boo Chisholm, off to the races, to the 20. Can he make it? 10, 5, touchdown Atlanta, and we're a 2-point conversion away from a tie ball game.
It's Boo time, Mike.
It is Boo time.
Some people say it's Bo time, but it's Boo time.
And you can hear the crowd saying boo.
Boo Chisholm, tough post route, and then turns on the afterburners. He says, no one's stripping this ball away from me. 2 hands for safety. Touchdown. And now it all comes down to this, Mike. 2-point conversion. Even if they don't get it, an onside would be interesting too. So there's a lot of scenarios where Atlanta could tie up or take the lead. It all starts with this. And
72-yard touchdown pass to Boo Chisholm puts him over 100 yards. Can we get the 2-point conversion? Ball's handed off to Hollywood. He can't make it. He's brought down in the backfield. And Matt, with no timeouts, it's going to come down to an onside kick.
Yeah, I didn't like the look of that formation, Mike. That's the one weakness of BDG, is he's not great on the goal line. He's not a power guy, and he ran away from contact. So here comes the onside kick.
Sammy Steele kicks this one away, and it is easily recovered by the St. Louis Gladiators. And Matt, just like that, or I should say with that, the St. Louis Gladiators will snap their 4-game losing streak and finally advance to win number 6.
Whew. What a game, though.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a fantastic ball game, and it's always fun when it comes down to the final drive of the game. I would have been interested to see Atlanta get that 2-point conversion and see what St. Louis could do, with the ball. Could they go down and get the field goal? Would it have sent it to overtime? Could have gone either way. So with that kneel down, I'm not sure if we'll see another one or not. The game clock is less than the play clock, so they can just let this one roll away. St. Louis will earn win number 6 with a 23-21 victory over the Atlanta Swarm.
That'll get them that much closer to the playoffs. I think 7 wins get you in for sure. So good on St. Louis. And Atlanta's still not out of it yet.
And there is your final score. Atlanta 21, St. Louis 23, as we head to the post-game show to look at some final stats and highlights. And Matt, get your final thoughts on this one.
Atlanta did a better job running the ball in the second half. But Mike, 3-0 in the turnover department. Subtract 1, Atlanta might have come away with the victory.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Next up for the St. Louis Gladiators, they will still remain here at home. They will play host to the Las Vegas Fury. For Atlanta, they're on the road once again next week. They head to Arizona. They'll take on the Scorpions. 2 more weeks of regular season action remain here in the Simulation Football League Season 16, Matt. And that'll wrap things up for us in this one. Appreciate you all joining us here. For Matt Wilson, Gerald Smith, our commissioner and producer, Cameron Irvine, I am Mike Daggs. We'll send it back to the SFL studios for analysis and what's next after these messages. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.
Welcome to the SFL post-game update along with Nate Hall. I'm Cameron Irvine. What a wild block of action in the SFL. Portland, it feels like about half an hour ago, defeated Los Angeles 21-6 on a crazy pick six, but it was way closer than that. And Los Angeles is officially in trouble now, Nate.
Still one possession game at that point, and the drive after that that LA had ended in a pick six, which just sealed the game. You just wonder what kind of difference that challenge would have made had that been challenged, or had R62 had the correct call on that play.
Yeah, just another questionable call. And remember, Nate, it was last week in the Los Angeles game that they had that touchdown taken away from it. It's just been a terrible stretch of luck here for LA.
Yeah, it really has. Luck is definitely not on their side right now. And now they're finding themselves squarely in second place in that Pacific Division with only 2 games left. And they have zero margin for error when it comes down to these last couple weeks. And they've really got to put their A game going in order to get themselves in the playoff spot.
And now Atlanta has zero margin for error. They're 4-6. They fall in bonus coverage to St. Louis 23-21. Gladiators keep the pressure on Tulsa. Tulsa plays Arizona next on our SFL Twitch channel, coming up in about half an hour from now. But, St. Louis saves themselves from losing 5 in a row. Now Atlanta's 4-6, 2 games back of the division, and their playoff hopes may be done here. They lose their only meeting with St. Louis. They did beat Tulsa in their only meeting with Tulsa. So they're hoping that Tulsa ends up the victor, or at least the team with 6 wins or 7 wins in that division, rather than St. Louis, I should say. Yeah,
and Atlanta is in emergency mode, I think, in these last 2 weeks to save their season and get that playoff spot. St. Louis almost blew it at the end of that game, though.
Yeah.
The long touchdown pass at the end, and they're only a 2-point conversion away from potentially tying that game. But my question is, when BDG Hollywood has been struggling for a majority of that game, why would you hand it off to him on a 2-point conversion and not try a swing pass, or at least a short pass to one of your receivers? Falco and Boo Chisholm had been having amazing games up to that point. And why they didn't try to go to their receivers at that point is beyond me. But now they're solely trying to save their season these last 2 weeks.
And a credit to St. Louis. They did a great job. It wasn't like they didn't try to feed BDG today, but they made it happen. St. Louis's defense, that is, and got it done. Okay, coming up next on Next Level Sports, another couple of major games. Lone Star 5-4, a game back of the division, takes on Baltimore. A win for the Vultures clinches the North for Baltimore. Tulsa, now a half game back in the East, taking on Arizona, who is fighting for a wild card spot and trying to catch up to the rest of that 5-win pack. What you got that you're going to be looking for in this block, Nate?
We haven't really touched much today yet on the Lone Star Baltimore matchup, but last week, Ike McBride proved that she can get some progress going on the ground. I think it's going to come down to Ace Fennick's arm, though, against this Baltimore stingy defense that they've got over there in their secondary. I want to see Ace Fennick really prove that he's got what it takes to lead this Lone Star team with his talented receivers that he's got over there, including Axis and Soto, to be able to get that team into the playoffs.
Arizona's been slumping, but Tulsa's been gunning. They've been looking great the last few weeks. How can Arizona reverse it? How do they do it?
They got to keep all their offensive players healthy, rather. DJ Moses went down the first quarter last week. It was solely on AJ's arm to get that win, and they come up just short against Las Vegas. They've got to keep their players healthy today, have a balanced attack in order for them to pull out that win at home today.
All right, action continues next. Baltimore Lone Star here on Next Level Sports. This has been the SFL Postgame Update. We'll be right back.